Cycle.
It's usually like Citrus Studio stuff.
Yeah.
Like the teleprompter will stop working.
Can you bring this a little closer to your
Yeah.
face? The teleprompter.
Yeah, we've had like our we have to like, I don't even know what the word is, but like kind of route the script into the teleprompter.
Okay.
And 9 out of 10 times, the same 3 buttons that I always press will not work. So I have to redo it 10 times and I have to call someone in. But I have found that basically the easiest way to solve any problem is to call in your boss, and it'll already be solved by the time they get there.
Yeah.
And they'll be annoyed with you.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I do.
They always. Every time. Is your volume okay?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. Every time, like something's broken, and I bring it to like my parents or something, or someone who's in authority.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Wait, it's fixed." Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? I just look like a total jabroni. But so you guys are on this. You had premiere season first, and then second. So this is your second season, right?
This is our 3rd season.
But wait, I thought your second season was last year.
Our 2nd season was COVID, yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I forgot about COVID. This thing is just brutal. So can you talk about how you got it started and why you got it, for people that don't know what the unicycle is?
Yeah.
Like what's it about and why you got it going?
Yeah, so as a freshman at Syracuse University at the Newhouse School of Public Communications, it's just my resume at this point.
Yeah.
4.0 GPA. I don't have a 4.0 GPA.
He's got a 4.1.
I have a 4.7
Yes.
actually. I cheated.
Yeah.
So yeah, after all those confessions are out of the way, yeah. So Unicycle, I started as a freshman. It's called the University News Cycle. I had another name that I won't be saying on the podcast, but I vetoed it early. Try to like move those letters around a little bit and see what you can come up with. So yeah, University News Cycle. It's basically a college and world news satire kind of show. James had a cameo or several cameos on it. James, do you want to give your highlight, the one sound that is the highlight of your time there?
Or something.
That's pretty much
it. Pretty much it. Yeah. Because I kept messing up my words.
Yep, there was one line that we had James say, and it was not working at all.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so I started as a freshman in my spring semester because I basically felt left out and kind of underutilized by all of the comedy orgs that I tried out for on campus. So I wanted to create something that was going to actually like help everybody grow as creators and creatives. So I created a show at Citrus TV, and it piloted first in the spring, and then our first real season started in fall of 2019, I think. But yeah, we're currently on season 3. We've got about 10 episodes out. Just sent in a new episode to be released hopefully today or tomorrow. So by the time you see this, 10, 12 years ago, I'm dead now. So that's fun.
12 years. Oh, jeez.
Hey, it's a podcast. It's the first season of a podcast.
Yeah.
What do we really expect, James?
True. Yeah. So you format it like a late night show, kind of. Right?
Not exactly. It's more, we take inspiration from The Onion mainly,
Okay.
and their fantastic videos on YouTube. But we format it kind of like the Citrus TV News Live at 6, where it's just 7 or 8 minutes. But we have like campus stories, packages that we go out of studio for, and then national stories, and then like a weather segment usually. So yeah, we purposely didn't do late night because that requires us to have to like know what's actually going on in the news. We just make shit up. We make up anything we want to make up. So if you want to have horses in the water for a water polo game, we can do that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we didn't go with the late night route, but more the satire news route.
Yeah, and it's fun to get away from what's going on in the world sometimes, just to escape and go into the water polo world or the ASPCA.
Yeah, AAA, SPCA.
Oh yeah.
AAA Automotive, Alcoholics Anonymous, and the ASPCA.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So how did you make your show more inclusive compared to the other shows on campus?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to go with a more like socialist style of writing, in that a lot of like sketch comedy shows, including SNL, if you write a sketch, you get paid for that sketch and it goes on the show and you kind of have your name attached to it. I didn't want to do that for this. So what we did is basically every single person is going to have some input on every single joke that goes into the show. So basically if I write a package, if nobody else finds it funny, it doesn't go in the show. If a couple people find it funny, then we ask the people who didn't find it funny, what isn't funny, what can we improve, and what can we do to make it a stronger package overall. So basically we have, I couldn't tell you who has written 85% of the jokes in the show, because it's either someone we've forgotten about or it's everybody.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to do it, though, because SNL is so backstabbing and like it seems like the same people. It's like a hierarchy of who gets on.
Yeah.
So I think that's what needs to kind of change in that environment, because when you have a bad environment, your show's going to be poo-poo.
Yeah, I mean, I think SNL is underrated still. I think that when we look back on it in 10 years, when it's JoJo Siwa as the like head writer, we're gonna say, "Oh my God, the Mikey Day golden age." Oh man, Alex. Oh, what a god.
Alex.
Oh my God, Kate McKinnon. A legend. Kate McKinnon's already a legend, but like,
yeah, she is good.
Every era of SNL, you look back at the previous era and you're like, "Oh my God, that was amazing." A lot of the sketches suck. I thought was it the Bill Burr episode? I thought was awful. But yeah, it's gonna be hit or miss. It's sketch comedy.
Fair.
If you watch my show, you'll probably hate most of it. You'll laugh sometimes. You'll cringe most of the time. But like, comedy is difficult, James.
Yeah. No, I get it. It is, because it's very to the person. It's different for each person, what you like and what you find funny. So what's funny to you isn't going to necessarily be funny to me.
Right.
Especially when you're putting a show out to so many millions,
yeah,
millions
absolutely.
of people.
We have, I think we're hitting our first billion this season.
Yeah, ridiculous. On your third season,
on our
too.
third season, yeah.
Yeah, no, but it is really hard. So when you're making the show, do you go for what makes you guys laugh instead of what you think makes other people laugh?
Yeah, I'd say I don't think we put much out there that we don't find funny ourselves. But the other problem is that we are producing on a decently regular schedule, and like, unlike a lot of like sketch comedy organizations where there's one sketch per week, every episode we have, I'd say, 20 plus jokes. Probably more if you count each individual joke in any longer segment.
Yeah.
But that means that we have to write 20 unique jokes that don't really relate to each other every single episode. And that is difficult. And we sometimes have to, we have a huge back catalog of content. And I would say what you see on the show, the worst joke in the show, there are 50 jokes in our back catalog that we could have put in but didn't because they were worse. So I'd say the answer to that question is yes. If it makes us laugh, we're likely to put it in. But also sometimes in the writer's room, we crack ourselves up and then posting it, we're like, what were we thinking? And that happens not often, but sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
And I think I personally like that you're putting out what you guys like, because when people try to sell out, try to just do what everyone else likes, it kind of loses its flair, its flavor, what gives it its life.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of how you're sticking to that, and I think you should in the future. So I also really enjoy the planning, the writing process behind it, because when you go and you're just like, you have all these like nouns and stuff.
The list of nouns.
The list of nouns.
Yeah.
They help so much.
And if you want to purchase that list of nouns, you can go to James's merch shop.
Yeah.
James, and I hate to ask.
Yeah.
What's the name of this podcast?
Bad Role Models.
Bad Role Models.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like that's a trap now for me.
Well, you want to hear the reason why it's called Bad Role Models?
Yeah, sure.
It's because, like we were talking about earlier, you can't take anyone 100% by whatever they say.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I'm lying to you right now.
Yeah. So the whole point of this is that, well, one, kind of keeps us out of legal trouble, because anything that's said on here, hey, we're just bad role models. But I think the only person that's a good role model in this world is Jesus Christ. So everyone else is all bullshit. Some of what they say is truth, what they know, but a lot of it is not. So you can't follow that to the grave.
Now, James, I'm not religious.
Yes.
So I can't trust anybody.
Fair.
Okay. Oh no, that's more of a question.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Because we were really just talking about that with Rogan, with all the bad whatever
Already
that's
into
out
Rogan
there.
now.
No, but it's just, that's kind of why it's called bad role models, because you
Yeah.
can't, no one is going to give you every answer you have, or every answer to the question you have,
Except Jesus.
except Jesus. Because
All right.
he was pretty,
I'll be a Christian now.
he was pretty good.
You've converted me.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Are we done now? Is that what this was about?
Yeah. You can
Cool.
go out.
Awesome.
My whole point is just to convert people.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I'm with you. I think a lot of people are bad role models. Yeah, just
Because even Bill Gates, tough.
yeah.
Like, that was one of the people. It was funny. I had someone on, like, right when that was happening, and I explained the same thing. He's like, "Well, what about Bill Gates?" And I'm like, "Oh, did you not hear the news?"
I don't think I heard the news.
Oh, he was like, they got the divorce because he was on Epstein's island, and so there's probably some sketchy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
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 So that was like,
I will be with you. Billionaires are bad role models.
Yes.
Are we good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Common ground.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's fair. Billionaires. All right. So what do you think about the Bezos Musk fight?
I think, can we sing Bo Burnham's Inside?
So funny.
Jeffrey Bezos.
You can do it.
I don't care. I want them both to give everyone else the money that they didn't earn.
Yeah. It is just so ridiculous that, like, Bezos is suing NASA for giving SpaceX, like, that loan or whatever.
Oh, is that happening?
Yeah.
See, I don't follow news. I run a news show and don't follow any of it. When I used to do news at Citrus TV, just like plain old news that was real and not fake, I used to write news, be in the studio when they were filming it, walk out and not be able to tell you a single piece of news that happened that day.
Yeah.
And I had written 10, 15 stories. Absolutely no idea about anything that happened.
Yeah.
So even if I had seen that, I haven't seen that.
Fair. So how does the newsroom work? Like, how do you find your stories and what to write about?
For like regular news? Yeah, so I don't really remember. So basically, we would look online for like just any other like print news that was being written, and then we'd kind of figure out, take from a couple of different sources, and then not use their words, but like repurpose their words into like a short 20-second-ish bite about whatever was happening. And then we would also, and this is a little insider baseball, we would make sure it was false, and we would lie about it and make sure that everyone was thinking what we wanted to think. So hate to break it, but yeah. Can't trust anyone these days.
Yeah. So how would you think? So why don't you listen to the news right now?
Sorry, I just exploded. I don't. I think it's more that I mean, I definitely follow news online a bit. But I think it's just because it's not convenient.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm in a dorm. I don't have a TV on me. And I'm not gonna like use my parents' cable access to go online and watch CNN or whatever like CBS News is on. But I mean, I think, yeah, I think it's just it's also the 24-hour news cycle. I just don't like.
Oh, it's terrible. I hate it.
Like in any form, it's just too much. There's not things happening.
Yeah.
And you make a mountain out of a molehill constantly about everything. I stopped wanting to put in that emotional labor to keep up.
Yeah, because it does really seem like it's just to make money, all of it.
Well, everything is, James.
Yeah, I know,
what are you doing this podcast for?
Because I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Aha.
I really enjoy it.
Okay.
That's why I do it. I don't expect to make any money from this.
Okay, that's good.
So
I came on here to sell merch.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, like I literally took ads off. Like I don't really I kind of just doing this because I like it.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope. That's my whole thing is I don't really care. I think money is a false idol that people go after.
A MacGuffin.
Yes, a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
And
you
it's
got a TV film guy on here.
yeah, a MacGuffin. Yeah. So I do think people follow money their entire lives trying to get that, thinking that would bring them happiness, and it just doesn't, because we see celebrities literally kill themselves all the time because they have money, fame, everything that people think they want, and it's just still not enough for them. So that always made me think, like, well, what does make someone happy? It's like, well, doing what you like, doing what you enjoy, and then that's all I really care about in life. Like, I don't really give a shit about the money. As long as I have enough to survive and enough support from my family, then I just want to, like, have fun. So that's why I do things.
That's entirely valid.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think I'm with you there. Like, I'm going into the TV field. Like, that's not, like, in theory that could be very much a lot of money.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's probably not going to be for a very long time. And even if it is, then it's probably too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's the only thing I've really ever been fully passionate about. And yeah, I like, also right now I'm pivoting from solely focusing on comedy to going into, like, unscripted reality television as well.
That's cool.
So that's kind of where, because I'm a huge games person.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing I'm passionate about. But I didn't see myself, like, being a board game creator for my whole life.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I have created a couple of board games.
Yeah? What kind?
There's one that's like effectively chess meets Parcheesi.
What is Parcheesi?
It's the one. It's like Trouble. Have you played Trouble?
No.
Okay. It's you move pegs around a board.
Okay.
And the like you roll dice or play cards or stuff like that. And it'll, like, you have to get around in a full. It's Sorry.
Yeah.
Have you played Sorry?
Yeah.
It's basically Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, it's called Cornering or Cornered. And yeah, it's basically like playing that sort of game with chess moves and other weird, like, V's and W's and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but, like, so I'm a big, like, game design person, so I kind of wanted to pivot from just comedy to comedy and also unscripted TV, like Survivor, Big Brother, stuff like that.
So you want to be, like, a writer for that kind of stuff, or, like, a producer? Or
I don't know.
you just enjoy?
Yeah, I like, ideally I'd love to be, like, the driving force behind new innovative games in the industry, because that's kind of like merging my two passions for TV and games.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you can make, not like a Wipeout, but Wipeout comes to my head because I love Wipeout.
Have you seen, it's on Netflix, The Floor is Lava?
No. Well, I saw the trailers
Okay.
for it. I never watched it.
I watched 6 minutes of it, and it's fine. It's good. It's better. It's better Wipeout than Holy Moly. Do you know Holy Moly?
No.
It's the Wipeout golf thing with Rob Riggle.
What? Oh, wait. I think I have seen that. Yes. Oh, my gosh. That one's hilarious.
Is it?
I only watched, like, one clip of it.
I watched the first episode of it, and I found it hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they immediately followed it up with a second hour-long episode after the first episode, and I had to turn that off after, like, 2 minutes.
You just got tired of it?
Yeah. But yeah, so I really like the Floor is Lava is your new Wipeout. But yeah, so I loved Wipeout. Wipeout was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I think there are a couple lines that, like, my family still quotes, like, where's the pole?
Where's the pole?
Where's the pole? It's like there's, like, a big yellow pole
Yeah.
in front of the person, and they had to, like, jump on it and ride it or something, and they just didn't see it. There's got to be another one.
The big red balls
The big red
of
balls.
death.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's doing some construction. I don't know
Absolutely.
what they're working on.
I don't think, like, there's not a podcast I've listened to. There have been episodes, but there hasn't been a podcast I've listened to that hasn't been, like, plagued by some absolute nonsense that never really happens anywhere except for podcasts.
Yeah, right? Like fighter jets going over it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and one of my last one, there was literally just a thunderstorm. And you could literally just hear it in it. It was just boom.
Sets the
Oh my
ambiance.
gosh. Yeah, we were talking about, like, AIs taking over the world.
Oh, nice.
And it was just boom, boom. We're like, oh, jeez.
I for one welcome our AI overlords.
Yes?
So, yeah. I mean, what's the alternative?
I don't know. Yeah, you can't really fight them back.
No.
They're kind of taking over.
Maybe just throw some water on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully.
I don't know if I'm allowed to show the Dasani logo on there.
Oh, you could show whatever you want. Maybe they'll sponsor. Probably not.
Dasani water. Don't watch Unicycle because we made a joke about Dasani water being bad.
Is it bad?
I don't know. I like it. It's fine. It's water. What do you expect?
It is kind of knockoff water, though. I like Poland Springs because at hockey, we would only have Dasani, and I'm like, this is shit.
Yeah.
But it's probably just all in my head because it's all the same.
Well, yeah, if you go into Dasani water saying, this is Dasani, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Probably not going to love it.
Fair. Yeah, it's probably not going to be great. So what do you enjoy about like board games and that kind of stuff? Like what's the pull for you?
I mean, in my brain, I'm saying I'm a strategy nerd.
Mm-hmm.
So like I will spend lots of time analyzing like optimal strategy, optimal play. That's why I love Big Brother and Survivor. But I think like I've never been a party person.
Yeah.
I've never been like a just hang out person. And I was talking to a friend, and she was saying like her friend group, they can't just sit together and hang out. They have to be doing something at every possible waking moment.
Yeah.
And like I don't love fighting games. I don't love sports games. So I'm like board games is kind of like the last resort. But like I don't know if this is true, and it's probably not true. And I'm a bad role model for saying this, but I remember vaguely my parents telling me that I wanted to learn chess before I learned checkers. Which makes sense knowing me and knowing my precociousness as a child. But yeah, I think like I like winning, and I'm not good at sports.
Okay.
I'm good at bowling. I'm good at ping pong. And I'm good at listening to knocking on the ceiling. I'm gonna point out every time there's knocking, so that when it's not gonna be in the podcast because like the mics are good, everyone's gonna be like, damn, they said there was knocking, but there isn't.
Oh, so I don't edit anything.
Oh, okay.
So that's the whole thing about this too. No editing. Except for the beginning where I put in the intro.
Okay.
And then the end when I put in the outro.
Is there a secret ingredient?
For what?
I might mention other podcasts, off menu podcasts.
Oh yeah, of course. You can say anything you want.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it's like they just have to make the guest has to do a menu of their their favorite foods, and at the beginning there's a secret ingredient, and if you say a secret ingredient, you get kicked off the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
They're just like, that's it.
Someone got kicked off for sprinkles.
Oh.
But it was at the dessert course, which is the last course, so it's not really a big problem. But yeah, I was hoping there's a secret ingredient, so I was gonna say something like aardvarks, and you just be like, fuck off.
Get out of here. Just leave. But what if I should have a word that if anyone says, that would be funny, I'm just like, leave. Get out of here.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, makes everyone's jobs easier.
Yeah.
Listeners are just like, oh, cool, it's done.
Cool.
Nice.
Podcast's over.
Yeah. I told James I would listen to the podcast, and I did, and it's over, and good.
Good. That's all I wanted to hear. 5 minutes. Because they are really, really, really long.
Okay.
Like, no, I'm just saying, like, there's some podcasts that are like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side where it's like 10 minutes, like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I tend to listen to ones that are like in the 40 to hour 20 range. But it very much depends on the podcast, where like if there's an episode that's like an hour and a half, I'm like, awesome. And if there's like another episode that's like 20 minutes, I'm like, on a different podcast, I'm like, yes, awesome.
Yeah. So who do you listen to?
It's less who and more what, I think. I don't think I've really listened to... No, that's not true. Off menu, I've listened because of James Acaster, who I will plug is the greatest the greatest comic alive. He's a great human being, but also a great comic. So I've listened to that because of him. But like one of my favorite podcasts is Hey Riddle Riddle, with JPC, Aaron, and Adil Rafai, who are just random Chicago improv comedians, and they solve riddles and do improv scenes about the riddles. It's a fantastic podcast, and they have trouble selling it themselves, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. They solve riddles. That sounds really funny, though.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And you've got JP Riddles as a recurring character. You love JP Riddles, right, James?
Yes.
Yeah.
JP Riddles.
I want to hear your impression of what JP Riddles sounds like. Can we start a new segment of James?
What I think sounds like?
James's impressions of things he doesn't know and hasn't heard.
JP Riddles.
JP Riddles.
I'm going to say he sounds like, we're going to solve some riddles today. What kind of riddles you do? I don't know. What does he sound like?
I'd say it's, see, I'm terrible at impressions. I'm also terrible at accents.
Yeah.
Infamously, I cannot do an accent. If I say I'm going to do like let's say in a British accent, I will end up doing an Australian accent.
Fair.
Like, "G'day, mate."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I thought I was gonna do British there for a second.
Came out
Fully
G'day,
Australian.
mate. Yeah. Also, I feel like riddles would sound like an Italian guy. It's just probably because like hey yo, solve these riddles, like from Brooklyn or something like that.
He's the bit is that he's who's the R.L. Stein? He's like R.L. Stein Goosebumps guy.
I've never actually watched Goosebumps.
Have you read it?
No.
Okay, because they're books.
Yes,
Yeah,
but then
I
they
think
made
they're
the
also
shows out of
movies.
them too.
Yeah.
My brother loved Goosebumps. I never got into the
So
the
JP
monsters.
Riddles. So we're just talking about a different podcast, which is great podcasting content. I know
Yeah.
that. But JP Riddles is R.L. Stein, but instead of Goosebumps, he has a Swan Lumps.
Swan lumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. Some people, when you get goosebumps on the arms, they call them like goose nipples or something like that. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you calling they're goosebumps? They're not freaking goose nipples.
Yeah,
you freak.
I would say that. Yeah, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
go
I
for
wouldn't
that.
go. And they're like, wait, you call them goosebumps? Like, I'm like, you
Gross,
think yours
dude.
is the normal one?
Gross, dude.
Yeah.
Um,
Freaking weirdos.
yeah, but yeah. Hey, Riddle. Off book, the improvised musical podcast is.
What?
They do an improvised musical every single episode.
So they just sing?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like my favorite one that I listened to recently is they do a parody of West Side Story, except it's literal sharks and literal jets.
Oh my gosh.
Terrific content.
How long are they?
I'd say it's like generally about an hour 10.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They improv for an hour about jets and jaguars,
sharks,
jets
yeah.
and sharks.
Have you seen West Side Story?
Isn't that the one where they're dancing outside and stuff? I've never seen the movie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, at the end. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's musicals too, right?
Yeah. Oh, so trivia for you.
Yeah.
What is West Side Story based off of?
I don't know. High school? Is that Footloose?
Sorry?
I don't know what West Side Story is about.
Sorry. Based off high school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like the inspiration for West Side Story is high school.
Yes.
What's your major?
TRF.
And
Probably
that's-
shouldn't be saying that. Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say that on camera.
Yeah, I have no clue.
It's based on Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, really?
And I would say everyone listening knew that.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't listen to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're a
Bad.
bad
It's actually
person. Role
yes,
model. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's bad role models with James Cunningham. So I'm actually the only exception.
You're the only exception to
Yeah,
the rule.
yeah.
So it's bad role models plus a good role model.
Yes.
James, aka Jesus H. Christ.
Exactly. Well, I have the same initials, JC. Same thing.
But you don't have the H.
I don't. What's the H?
Hella? I don't know.
Yeah. Hella.
Jesus hella Christ.
Oh my gosh.
He is. You got to admit, he
Yeah.
is hella Christ.
Yeah, he's pretty dope. But no, I was actually on by myself, so I'm a bad role model too.
Okay.
So
So that's just you talking for an hour.
it was me talking about aliens for like 2 hours.
Okay.
So that was that
Yeah.
podcast.
I won't be tuning in for that episode. I'm sorry.
Well, aliens are pretty dope. Aliens are cool, but we'll see.
I mean, haven't met one, so I don't know. Or have I?
Yet. I don't know. Have you? I don't know. But there is a lot of cool stuff on them.
See,
I
it
don't
really-
need to get into it.
It really does seem like an alien would be the one to say, yeah, everyone else I talk to is a bad role model. I'm a good role model.
Yeah.
That sounds like an alien thing.
Maybe I've been just trying to say to everyone that I am an alien. Ever think about that? I'm just trying to set the scene slowly to let my other aliens come to this world. But they're not alien to me. They're just normal. To you guys, they're aliens. But to me, you guys are aliens.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Like aliens are aliens real?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think no?
I mean, maybe.
I mean, it's just like our galaxy, our universe is huge. And to think we're the only life is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think there's more odds that there are than there aren't.
Sure. Yeah.
That's
Are
pretty
we
much
in a
it.
simulation?
I mean, Musk thinks so, and the probability is pretty high.
But as we said earlier, billionaires,
Billionaires,
bad
bad role models. I'm gonna say I think no.
Mm-hmm.
I feel no.
Okay.
Because it says if one simulation was made, then it's just that simulation is gonna make another one, and another one, another one, another one. When they keep getting advanced enough, when you make one, then they get to a point,
Yeah.
and then it keeps going.
I think you're quoting a Rick and Morty episode.
No, this is what Musk. There's literally a thing on
I think
this.
Musk was quoting a Rick and Morty episode.
Well, maybe Rick and Morty knows what they're talking about. Then.
No.
No. Well, this is what it says. But I don't know. I think no.
I think the exact quote from Musk is, if there's a simulation, then thousands of simulations later, someone will in fact be Pickle Rick. So I am quoting that directly from this paper in front of me.
Yes. We came in with sheets just for this exact moment. We knew it was going to come up.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is all scripted, by the way.
This entire thing.
Yeah.
It's actually just all on my laptop. I have all of the words right
And there's
here.
a mirror right behind you that I can see the laptop, but also a second mirror so that it comes to me in the right direction.
Do you understand how mirrors work?
No.
They're very confusing to me.
I think magic is the right.
Yeah. I think magic too.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation.
I refuse to look it up.
No.
Yeah, because imagine Googling how do mirrors work.
Yeah.
Google would just the answer would be haha.
Yeah. I mean, it is weird.
I mean, it's not really that weird, is it?
It seems kind of weird to me. Like, yeah, I don't know how mirrors
Just
work.
like reflections.
Yeah. Reflection. Well, in water. No, yeah, it is strange to me. I don't know how they work. I don't know.
Yeah, and I refuse to look it up.
Yeah.
So
I think I have looked it up before. And it seemed complicated.
Yeah. So, yeah. This isn't my podcast, but I'm trying to hijack the conversation.
Oh, it is your podcast.
It is my podcast.
Yeah, you're the episode.
I'm the episode.
So you could literally bring it wherever you want.
Okay.
I'm just here to facilitate.
Favorite color that nobody else has ever heard of? What a terrible podcast question. I've listened to so many
Favorite
podcasts,
color.
and like the time when someone says, "Hey, what's your favorite color?" except you can't say a color that anyone's heard of. That is the moment that I not only switch off the podcast. I have never rated a podcast. I'm sorry. I will rate that podcast 1 star.
Please don't.
Not this. Well, I mean, I guess I have to now that I've said
I guess
it.
you have to.
Yeah.
I want the only like on this to be dislikes.
Oh, dislike. Just drop a dislike, everybody.
Drop a dislike.
And that's going to bite us well in the butt.
So funny.
Yeah.
So a color I've never thought. So is it just I'm making up a color?
No. It has to be a real color.
But someone that heard of every color. What about Sharknado blue?
I'll take it.
All right.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Didn't think that far. It's all of the Mountain Dew flavors mixed together except for Code Red.
Okay. Interesting. Because the Code Red would definitely make it like poop brown.
I mean, I think it would already be.
Yeah. It might be poop brown.
Okay. How many Mountain Dew flavors can you name?
Baja Blast.
1.
Original. Does that
1.
count?
I don't know. I'm sure too.
Electric Blue, I think's one.
Mountain Dew Electric Boogaloo.
But be something like that, yeah. And then the red one, Code Red.
Code Red.
I think that's it.
So you have just lost 4% of my respect for you.
Yeah, well, I don't drink that.
Okay.
I do not drink Mountain Dew. It's so much sugar. Mm-hmm. It's just, yeah. And I think, doesn't it turn like your pee like neon or something like that?
I would doubt it.
Yeah.
But
maybe that was definitely just a rumor I heard, but that would be kind of funny if it turned your pee neon. But when you
just
go to
permanently.
Yes, just if you have it once,
Yeah.
it's neon forever. And they're like, what happened? It's like, Mountain Dew.
Fucking Mountain Dew, bro.
Mountain Dew. I was 15.
Yeah.
Screwed. But when you go to movies, that is my exception. I will have soda there.
Okay.
My popcorn. Have you seen any good movies recently?
No.
No?
No. I don't watch movies.
I thought you said you were a film guy.
Well, I'm a TV guy.
All right. Have you watched any good TV recently?
Yeah.
What shows?
So I watch a lot of British television because I am a nerd and also the worst. But my favorite show right now is Taskmaster, which if you've seen, you know exactly why it's my favorite show. But basically, it's 5 comedians and they compete in like 40 random tasks, like eat as much watermelon as possible, or they set up like a kind of like a laser maze thing, except with string and like you know those like pendants that they have at like pools sometimes with like the flags on them.
Yes.
Yeah, they set up those in the garden, and then you have to, while hopping on one leg, bring a plate of bread to the Taskmaster's assistant while hopping over or ducking under those things. So that's the range of things you do in that show. But yeah, so it's 5 comedians compete in like 40 tasks over 10 episodes, and then they get judged on their efforts. But it is they're all comedians, so
Yeah.
it's the funniest thing in the world. So that's my current favorite TV show at the moment.
And it's British?
It's
so are they
British, yeah.
British comedians?
Yeah.
So you're big into like stand-up, right?
I would say less so. I'm definitely more into the like panel shows type thing in the UK, and
What's a panel show?
Taskmaster's an example of one,
Okay.
but it's basically just like a bunch of comedians sit around, play some sort of like parlor game, and the points don't matter, kind of like Whose Line style.
Yeah.
I'd say Whose Line is in any ways the closest thing we have to a panel show in the US. But yeah, there's one where comedians do a show called Countdown, which is basically either anagrams or doing basic arithmetic for an hour. And it sounds awful and it's amazing. But yeah, so that's my... Go ahead.
No, I was just laughing at the show.
Oh yeah, it's called Countdown. The version in Australia is called Letters and Numbers.
Letters and numbers.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And they now have a version called Celebrity Letters and Numbers in Australia, I believe, where celebrities do that thing, except it's not funny.
Yeah.
So imagine a show where half of it is anagrams, like you'll get the letters L, P, A, G, Q, R, R, O, E. And then you have to come up with the longest word based on those letters.
Yeah. It would be good if they're comedians.
Yeah.
Celebrities, it would just kind of be sad watching.
Oh, absolutely. And it is sometimes sad watching comedians fail, but
Yeah.
it's usually funny.
Ding.
Yeah. So that's a great email, a notification.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
I'm
also
gonna
comes
say
from my computer.
new segment. Read out that entire email.
Let's see what it says. It's
Yeah.
probably a bursar email. All right, let's see. What is it? What are you? Oh, virtual career advising.
Ooh.
This is long. I'm not reading this all. I get so many emails a day. I don't even know what to do with them all.
Read them.
But
And then
most of them aren't worth reading.
okay.
They're all spam.
Yeah.
Like they're all spam.
Yeah, I've
Like,
gotten a lot of job offer from Nadine.
Oh my gosh. Delivery times this fall. I don't care, Custom Ink. I went on your website once 5 years ago.
Custom Ink is a great clothing service provider. And that brings us into our first sponsor,
Yes.
TeePublic.
TeePublic. Get your t-shirts for high prices and bad quality.
Hey, I wouldn't get on TeePublic's bad side.
Is
They
TeePublic a real company?
They are a powerful lobby, my friend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The TeePublic
They will
people-
cut me off
Oh, yeah.
very quickly. Yeah. But from my side, it seems like these sponsors give a lot of, not power, but take away, like say Dasani's sponsoring you. Dasani, water. And then they say they get their minerals that they put in it from like, I don't know, a farm in Nigeria. And then you talk about Nigeria slavery and they're like, no, you can't talk about that.
Yeah.
That sketches me out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's-
I'm with you.
It gets in the way so much. Like advertisers, like the stuff, like China's the best example of it. Like when Marvel talks about Chinese and then John Cena comes in Mandarin apologizing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on? He literally called Taiwan not a country or a country.
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Money is hey, money, guys.
It's money.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Money.
Money. I think it gets in the way of a lot of things. It does. Because when everyone's
I'm down for the barter system.
for the what?
For the barter system.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that camera lens for your Dasani water.
I mean, here's the thing. That's a bad trade for both of us because you need that and I don't need this.
yes.
And I don't need that.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think that sounds like a fair
yeah.
deal.
So barter system. Thanks for sponsoring us, barter system.
Thank you, barter system.
We will be expecting our sheep in the mail.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's how they used to transfer, like trade.
What's a male sheep?
I don't know.
What's a male sheep? Oh, so actually, that's a good. What's a male sheep that's also a Swedish pop band?
A male sheep that's also a Swedish.
I'll give you a hint. It's exactly what you just said.
Ba.
No. ABBA.
ABBA.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are they
ABBA.
Swedish? No, Take
They
On
just
Me.
came. They just came out. That's AHA.
Yeah, that's AHA. Imagine being whichever of them came first,
Yeah.
and being ABBA or AHA,
AHA.
and then like 10 years down the line, it's just like, oh yeah, so you guys are AHA, we're ABBA, and
ABBA.
you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, ABBA's coming out with a new. I think it's ABBA.
ABBA?
I don't know. Now I'm saying ABBA. I kind of like ABBA, but they're coming out with a new album after like 40 years.
That
Can it beat Mamma Mia? I don't.
is
think
Mamma
so.
Mia an album?
Well, that's like their whole thing. Like they made the movie based off their soundtrack or off their album, which I
I
think
think
is
it's
wild.
just based off their discography.
Oh, off all their songs? Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was off one album.
The one of the plays I've seen is We Will Rock You, which is the Queen
Yeah.
play. I've seen it twice, maybe even a third time. but-
Where?
So on a cruise.
You saw it 3 times on a cruise?
On I think 2 separate cruises.
Okay. So I guess they get around.
Yeah.
They get around their cruises.
But no, it's just like the cruise production of the show.
Yeah.
But there's one scene in it which I think is worth the price of admission, which in my case was free or the price of a cruise.
Yes.
Whatever you want to think about it as. But I won't spoil it. But
Spoil it.
okay, I'll spoil it. Just pull my leg. My
Yes.
nose shut. Ow! Stop it. Yeah. So, do you know the song "Bicycle Race"?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the song "Bicycle Race"? Write in below in the comments.
Yes. We're
I'm
waiting.
just waiting for them to write.
Write it. Stand here all day.
Cool. Thank you. Kevin James. Wow, Kevin James listens to the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Is he the guy in Kevin Can Wait, or is that a different Kevin? Or is that not?
I don't
even
know
a
Kevin Can Wait.
Kevin Can Wait is yeah, I think it is.
I know Mall Cop.
Paul
Paul
Blart.
Blart.
Paul Blart. Oh god, what's the best Paul Blart meme? It's I don't know.
Paul Blart.
Look
That's
up Paul
the
Blart,
meme.
Look up Paul Blart meme.
Yeah, Paul Blart.
Very good.
Great.
Yeah, so the song Bicycle Race. I'm shocked I remembered that we were talking about that. There's a scene where they have to like get somewhere quickly, and then they're like, well, we don't have a car, and then someone else is like, well, you can ride on my, and then like out of the
Oh my
ground
gosh.
a like motorcycle comes out, like comes up, and then the song bicycle, and then they stop. It's just like, and that's it.
And that's
then
it?
They wait for applause, presumably.
Yes.
And they get it every time because it's fucking hilarious.
That's so funny.
As a comedian.
Yes.
As a star in the field of comedy. I think that is the funniest thing ever. And you can't prove it otherwise.
It sounds like I need to go on a cruise.
You need to go on a cruise in 2014.
Yes.
And watch that.
Queen is so good. I love Queen. Oh, I love them.
Yeah,
They're just so good. Did
yeah.
you see the movie?
I did not see the movie. James, I've seen like 12 movies.
Wow. Make it 13 and watch Bohemian Rhapsody. So good.
I mean,
Just for the songs.
From-
the Live Aid at the end is just perfect. Sometimes a lot. I'm not even saying sometimes. You know, when the charts where it's like sometimes, mostly, all the time, never. That wasn't the right order, but never. Sometimes, a lot of times, always.
It makes it very difficult to do your surveys, James.
Yes.
The way you organize
yes.
them.
I just want to make sure people are paying attention.
Yes,
okay?
exactly.
If you just, I want you to look which one you're doing.
Yeah.
But I would go more on the, instead of sometimes, I'd go one up to most times. Yeah. But I go.
Based on your own arbitrary system
yes,
that I've never seen before.
Yes, exactly.
Also, what charts?
The chart. Oh, you never do these charts? They're like the surveys for school. They always make us do it. Do you skip your school surveys?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
James, don't. If you accuse me of skipping my school surveys,
Don't you dare.
one time, I will walk off this podcast so fast.
You don't want to be the person who doesn't get the extra credit for your class.
Are you talking about Com 107?
I mean, they do it for like all my classes.
Really? I have
Yeah.
had that only once in Com
Really?
107. Com
Oh.
107. Media in the media field or something?
It just,
I don't know.
It's just, that class was just not enough focused for me. It was just too broad. And I guess that was the point of it.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like it.
I'm currently taking a class with my Com 107 professor. So
Really?
I will not shit talk Com 107.
I love
You hear me?
107. Yeah.
Can we get me a catchphrase?
A catchphrase?
I've said you hear me twice, but I don't like that.
Walumbo. Walinga. Would. Wow.
I'll take wow. No, that's Waluigi.
Oh, yeah.
But
Wah!
I mean, that's also not Waluigi.
That was more of a Mario.
Wah! Wah!
Bring. Ha! That's my Yoshi.
Does he do bring ah?
Bring. Ha! When he jumps.
What about zig a zig ah?
Zig zig ah. Bow. Bow.
Day bow bow.
I feel like that's the bow bow.
Yeah, day bow bow. Well,
Yeah.
I was doing more Spice Girls.
Oh, okay.
Zig a zig ah. Well, zig a zig ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what song is that?
If you wanna be
Be
my lover,
you gotta
gotta
get.
get with
Do
my
you
friends.
agree with that statement? If you want to be your lover, do they have to be with your friends?
I mean, I'm barely with my friends, so I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
Um,
Relationships are weird.
yeah,
They seem difficult.
they do seem difficult. Hey, by the way, if a relationship is difficult, stay in that relationship long term. It will not get better.
Yes, it will not get better. Yeah, I don't know.
You will flounder.
Yeah, people like to latch on to things that they're comfortable with.
La La Latch.
La La Land.
La La Land.
Good movie.
No.
Never saw it.
I haven't either, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. What are the 12 movies you have seen?
okay. The one with the guy, Truman Show.
Ooh, good one.
Good show.
Good one.
Good show. Good
Yeah.
Truman.
Good Truman.
I have seen 2 movies by Brian Jordan Alvarez on YouTube. Full-length feature films.
Okay.
Grandmother's Gold and web series The Movie.
Were they good?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. I have seen name a movie, I'll tell you if I've seen it.
Jurassic Park.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What about any Marvel movies?
I've seen Fantastic Four, the new one.
Oh, that's sad. That one stinks. Any Disney movies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've definitely seen more Disney movies than any other. Like,
All right, that's good. Disney
I've
movies
seen,
are good.
I've seen Frozen on a bus. I've seen Mulan on a bus.
The
and
new one
also
or old Mulan?
Old one.
Good. New one didn't even have the dragon.
I've seen Ice Age on a bus.
What buses are you going on? That's
Like camp, like field trips and
Okay.
stuff when they would just like play movies on a coach bus.
What happened to that? Where did those go?
We grew up, James. We are older now.
And we have phones now.
Yes.
Sad. I want to go back to the days with TVs in the cars, in the buses.
I mean, I've never had a TV in my car.
Oh,
And-
you never been in one of those SUVs?
Well, no, I have been in them, but I've never had a TV in my own car.
Fair.
And I would say, if anything taught me patience, Ariana Grande,
Oh yeah.
it's that I didn't have a TV in a car.
Where does Ariana Grande come into that?
One taught me love, one taught me patience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just listen to that song in full for the first time like yesterday.
It is good. Ariana's good. I enjoyed her.
I see. Actually, again, when I was thinking about this, I don't think I like genuinely a single Ariana Grande song.
Really?
The closest one is Bang Bang.
Bang Bang's the one you
Bang
like?
Bang.
Yes, with Nicki Minaj and
Yeah.
Iggy Azalea is the
It's-
third
it's-
one.
It's James, I don't say this lightly. It is a bop.
I do remember when it came out, I was like really excited. Me and my brother were like, no way. Ariana Grande dropped with Nicki Minaj and I think it was Iggy Azalea.
Yes.
And
Yes? No. Jessie J.
Jessie J.
Jessie J.
Jessie J.
She did. Oh, Pitch Perfect 2.
Yes.
I've seen.
Okay.
I have not seen
the first
Pitch
one?
Perfect 1. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, you got a lot of weird range of movies
Yeah.
you've seen.
I have seen about half of the first Godfather. Didn't like it.
Okay.
Don't make 3-hour-long movies.
But what if it needs to be?
It doesn't.
What if it does?
There was so much filler, James.
Yeah, but it's good filler. You didn't finish it though.
No.
The oranges. The oranges. They put them in every
Go
time
Cuse?
someone's gonna die. Well, yeah, go Cuse too. It's good. It's art.
Yeah.
It's art.
What other movies have I seen?
So what draws you in for a movie? What's like?
Being forced to watch it.
Oh, okay. So
see-
you just don't like movies.
Okay, so I will watch. I am an instant gratification person.
Mm-hmm.
I will watch like 12 episodes of a TV show before I watch like a 30-minute TV show. I will watch an entire season of a show before I watch one movie.
Fair. But you like Bojack, right?
Love Bojack.
Bojack.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Very
James.
good. I love Bojack too.
I will talk about it. Like this will be a Bojack episode of the podcast.
I would love to hear it.
I Bojack. If it's not Taskmaster Any Given Day, Bojack is my favorite show of all time. It is nearly perfect in my opinion. I think they're like the lowest points of that, like the worst points of that show are still amazing. Like people bash season 1.
I was about to say I don't like season 1.
It's still good. It's good TV.
It's more episodic than serialized.
Yeah.
And and now like 90% of shows are serialized. I get more involved with the characters when it's a story and not just because how long can you do like a sitcom
Rick and Morty,
nowadays?
an additional 80 episodes.
Yes,
apparently.
but I don't know if you watch it, but they did make it. It's weird because it's episodic and it's serialized.
Yeah, I have been watching. I think there was a new episode recently. That
Yeah,
I
it was the
didn't
season
watch.
finale. It's pretty good.
but-
that one it looped in the storyline. You get
Yeah.
you get Rick's story, you get Evil Morty, you get everything.
Yeah, I definitely like Community era Dan Harmon rather than Rick and Morty era Dan Harmon. I don't think they overlapped at all.
I don't know.
Maybe season 6 was.
When
for
did Community start?
Community started.
I mean, stopped.
It stopped in 16.
I think there might have been like a year
Yeah.
overlap.
I don't know, but yeah, I like Community more than Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so BoJack is obviously season 6 episode 11.
Is that the last season?
Episode 15.
Is that the last season? The last episode?
Second to last episode.
That was like my favorite episode. Like I'm really
Yeah.
just getting a little shivs. Just
My
listening.
favorite episode is season 5, episode 11, which is the showstopper.
Which one was that?
Don't stop dancing till the curtain falls.
I don't remember that one.
It's the I don't want to spoil much, but it's the it's with Stephanie Beatrice's character. Yeah.
With the drugs?
No, that's Kristen Schultz.
Okay. You could spoil it.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I genuinely, if there's one thing I'm not gonna spoil, it's gonna be BoJack.
Fine.
But yeah, so fantastic television. It has so much heart. It has so much comedy. It has so much devastation. And yeah, but like I've definitely both. I think the last 3 parts. So it was like season 5, season 6 part 1, season 6 part 2. I watched them all in one day.
Really?
Yeah, and season 6 part 1 and 2 I watched as they came out in a dorm, on the TV, back to 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 back.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
How long did that take?
from 3 a.m. until like 7 a.m. or 6 or 7 a.m.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You must have been exhausted.
For those who tuned out and stopped watching and are tuning back in, I'm not wearing glasses anymore.
Yes. The glasses are off.
And who are
Ooh.
you now?
My name is Jesse James.
Yeah,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
And I'm the Addams family.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Um,
Yeah, but BoJack, it gave, because most people write off animation as just like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that. It's not up to par. It's not my standard.
Yeah.
Like I think animation gives so much more creative freedom.
Yeah.
To the writers and to what you want to do.
I'm a big background jokes guy. And BoJack, there's a literal Instagram account dedicated to BoJack hidden background
This
jokes.
just the stuff in the back.
Yeah.
It's so good. They are very prone to detail. Do you think they write that into the script, or do you think they do that?
That's something that I think Lisa Hannawalt's team probably takes care of. She's the like artist behind BoJack. But yeah, I don't think it's something that goes into the script. I'd say some things do.
Yeah, because I know you can't just write something into the script as like if you don't reference it.
Yeah.
So I always wondered for like clever stuff like that, if they do put it in, or it's just like
I'd
the
say
artist.
the monkey, or like I forget what animal it is, but the animal coming down with a T-shirt that says "Stop pausing the show" and reading the background jokes. I don't think that was written into the script.
Fair. Those are so funny though. I love it's just the detail. The level of detail is impeccable, and that's what I like about Disney World. Is just they have a thing that Walt used to use. I guess this was for Disneyland.
There's a blue whale underneath the floorboards.
Yeah, what is? I do not know what they're doing in this house. They literally, you see this house. They do not do construction on it, ever.
I mean, it does look like they are actively doing construction on the house.
Yeah, this is like the first time since the 80s. But Walt always had a thing for the level of detail. You should be able to go up to a doorknob and see the paint chipping off.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, an awesome way. And that's why Disney World and Disneyland are so immersive.
Yeah.
Because it's just, the detail is there. And that's what Bojack's doing too. And it just adds so much to a show. Because some people just like, because they just do it for the money. They're like, we're just going to pump this out. Yeah. If it's shit, it's shit. We just need it to make some money.
And I'm going to say, let's do the show that we're both thinking about right now on 3. All right.
Oh, well, there's a lot.
There's a very specific one that I think you think that you might know that I'm going to reference.
I don't know.
All right, I'll just say it. The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
Honestly, I know saying this might shoot me in the foot eventually, but if you had a say in, like, not just if you worked on it. If you worked on it, I get it. You have bills to pay. If you had a say in what made The Big Bang Theory what it is, fuck you.
Is it still running?
You. No, it's thankfully done, but you know it is running. Young Sheldon.
Oh my.
Which is, I guess, better probably. Like, I've seen it on the background a little bit, and like it's a single camera. There's no laugh track.
I hate laugh tracks so much.
Yeah, I'm less like. I don't necessarily hate them. I think it's lazy, and I think if you're doing it in this year of our Lord 2021, is that the year of our Lord?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm chill with Jesus.
They changed it. Like one king. I don't know the history.
Okay.
One king after the year 0, R0 was like, we should reset that to 0.
Yeah. So if you're using a laugh track in the year of our Lord 2021, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's so overdone. It's like, don't tell me when to laugh. I'm going to laugh when I want to laugh.
And hear me out, James.
Yeah.
If they don't tell you where to laugh in The Big Bang Theory, you won't.
True. Same with Friends.
Yeah.
Take it out. It's terrible. Oh, I do like Friends, but it's just, I don't.
I mean, no one told you life was going to be this way.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of
Your
the
job's
lyrics
a joke,
of this
bro.
song.
Your love life's to your way.
Is that in it?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a single full episode of Friends.
Really?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, but the laugh tracks, I don't like them. I think you got to be more creative than that. And that's why, like, for me, I want character development. Mm-hmm. That's what gets me in a show. So when I seen Bojack's story of going, like, through his addiction, trying to get back down, ruining all his relationships, like, why would you, the first thing is, like, why would you ever like this asshole character?
Right.
And they make you love him. I liked him.
Yes. I would say through season 1 and 2. Yes.
Yeah, he turned into a shithead.
Yeah.
Definitely. But we still watched him.
Yeah.
You know, they still made us like him.
Yeah. I think the great thing. I think Bojack Horseman does a lot to at least in the later seasons, to give people the tools to escape from or break bonds with those who are toxic to them. Mm-hmm. And I think like Diane is a great example of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like when I made the joke earlier about make sure if your relationship isn't going well that you stay in it forever, like that's genuinely something that so many people struggle with. And I think like using my platform here on this podcast, the bad role models and also James Cunningham podcast, I would say, like, just be, if you can't be happy with yourself, and if the people you're with can't be happy with themselves, take a break.
Yeah.
Take some time off. And yeah, I know, like, me personally, I've had friends that, like, just one of us has outgrown the other. And I think, like, at some point I've struggled with being okay with that on either end. But I think I've grown more, and I think I'm having that happen less and less often.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I think BoJack, it makes you think all of the time. And it makes you think about who you're sympathizing with. And I'm in several Facebook groups about Bojack Horseman, and people still don't get it. And I think that's the only criticism I have of the show, is it doesn't go as far as I think it could in really punishing and really, okay. It does really a really good job in not punishing the characters that in the real world would not be punished. But people take that as, I love Bojack Horseman. He didn't get punished, so that's good. I'm glad. He's better now.
I think his whole life was a punishment, though.
But that doesn't help.
That's fair. I do think when you have to live with yourself like that, pushing everyone away, that's punishment enough. When no one loves you, like, and you're doing it to yourself when you could simply change, like, that's pretty brutal. But, like, what kind of punishment would you like to see?
Well, Bojack's line, or I think it might have been Diane, who said, "Do you really think that the biggest victim in the Bojack Horseman story is Bojack Horseman?" And it's not.
Yeah, no.
But I think that, yeah, it's, and while they're, like, I don't know a specific punishment I want for him, but just, like, it shows that people who do terrible things and have a history of doing terrible things can still be pretty much fine if they are in Bojack's status as a person.
Yeah, I mean, we do see that a lot.
Yeah.
And it does suck, because going back to your point of being able to detach from people, when you're so comfortable, like, we see it in domestic abuse, it's like, this is like what I know. And a lot comes from our childhood of, this is what I know. Like, this is how I was raised. I can't act any differently. And when you don't understand, like, this isn't a healthy relationship, or even if you do and you want to get out of it, it's like, well, where do I go? Like, what am I supposed to do? So it's so difficult for people just to leave, because it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary to go into something that they think, and even for, like, mental health things, some people are like, I'm not going to be funny, or I'm not going to be successful if I'm not messed up. Like, if I'm not stressed, or if I'm not anxious, like, that's where the comedy comes from.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, I've personally struggled with that. I think that's true. I thought that's true, but it's not. Like, we don't need to struggle, because comedy kind of does come from struggle and pain and, like, twisting it. But I don't think it's needed or necessary to make someone good at what they do. Yeah, I think it's a trick of the mind.
I think comedy comes more from honesty and vulnerability. And I think, excuse me, great podcasting, by the way, from me especially. But yeah, I think that comedy comes from letting your inhibitions down. And, like, something I do at Unicycle actually is, before every time we shoot in studio, I have our anchors, literally, I turn off the microphones. Yeah. You know this. I have them turn off the microphones, and I have them scream at the top of their lungs. And sometimes they go like, ah, and I just say, no, that's not good enough. Because if you aren't willing, in the company of the 7 people in the studio who you're friends with and have known for a couple of years, if you're not willing to just let out a scream that is just, ah, I mean, obviously I'm not going to scream that loud because I'm on a podcast. But if you're not willing to let out your just,
it's like letting your guard down.
Yeah, it's letting your guard down. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to be funny. If you're going to come in to if you're going to tell a joke about horses in the water for a water polo game, and you're gonna say it like, yes, and there are horses in the water, and it's a water polo game.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be free. You're not going to be funny, really.
Yeah.
So I make an effort to make sure that people are able to let their guard down, because otherwise you freeze up. And you just, like, humans are very good at fitting in, for the most part. Like, I can do a pretty good job of in any room not being weird, not being awful. That being said, comedy doesn't allow you to have that privacy even.
Yeah.
So, like, if I feel comfortable, I am a very different person than if I don't feel comfortable. And I think I'm more true to myself, if that even exists, when I am not comfortable. When I am comfortable. Because if I have trust, if I have a connection with somebody, I can show more of myself and not have a fear of retaliation or a fear of just like you leaving this room when I go to class later. You go into your class and say, "Oh, Adam's weird." Like, I don't want that to happen.
Hey, I like when people are them. That's my whole thing. Like I used to go for my church. We did search.
Go Jesus.
Go Jesus. We do, yes. We did. They're called search retreats, and they're like peer retreats. And you go. I went on 1 year. I was a member. One I was a team member, and then I was a co-leader. But the whole point is, you tell your story. There's different sections of whatever, but your story comes out. And the whole thing is like, we're taking off the masks that we wear and showing our authentic self, because we wear these masks to prevent harm towards ourselves, because no one likes to get hurt. Everyone wants to be accepted. But for me, and I think for everyone, for happiness, like, we do have to be ourselves. We have to be open. But it is hard, because no one likes when their heart's being jabbed.
Yeah.
And when someone says, I don't like what you're saying. And it's the same thing with opinions too. We kind of attach ourselves to our opinions. So when someone hurts our opinions, it's like it's hurting us. And that's kind of seems like a lot of what's going on nowadays.
Yeah, I think, I personally, I don't really feel that. Like, I don't apply that to myself, but I fully agree that that's what's happening for a lot of people. I'd say with my opinions, my opinions have changed very much over like a very short, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, period of time.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of like, I happen to go in one direction, some people are happening to go in another direction, but I understand that it's not, people don't follow the same logic as I do, and my logic has led me to my opinions.
Oh yeah.
And I think that I don't get offended. I think that people's intention is to offend sometimes, and I think that you're right that people think that everyone attaches emotional weight to their opinions, and I think that or like views even. I think that it's important to see the logic behind your own views so that you can then explain them better to people. And I think that while I'm not someone who says, oh yeah, if you just meet down the middle with someone and find a common ground, everything will be fine. Because if I find a common ground with someone who believes that I don't want to get the people hating me.
Earth's flat.
No. Well, no, if I okay, let's do that. If I talk to someone who believes the earth is flat, and genuinely believes from the bottom of their heart and from the facts that they have sought out. Very good.
Thank you. Grammar 101. Com 101. Great class.
Yeah, so if they have from their research have found the earth is 100% flat, my main goal can't be to offend them into believing what I believe. I can't be making fun of them into believing what I believe. But it's important to take a look at why they've found that.
Yeah, because obviously they believe it for a reason.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's really interesting. And I think with Flat Earth specifically, it's it's interesting because you have to ignore so many facts, and you have to believe in such intricate levels of deception from so many people that if the Earth was genuinely flat, what do you think you can accomplish by saying that?
Yeah. It makes, I don't get it at all.
If millions of people in dozens of countries, some of whom are the United States' enemies, all have agreed collectively, hey, let's lie about the fundamental fabric of our world, of our existence. I don't care at that point.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? It's like in like Survivor. If you are playing in a game and every single person is against you, if you figure that out, it doesn't matter. Yes, you can win a challenge to make sure you're safe. But if every single person in the game is lying to you and is cheating you and is wanting to get you out, there's very little you can do to change that path. So you might as well play as if people are being honest to you, or play as if people are at least willing to give you a shot.
Fair.
Because if not, then no one is getting anything out of that.
Yeah, I do think, though, the mob's not always right. Like who studied the sun? The heliocentric.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Because sometimes the one person is the right one.
Yeah,
and then they get sent on house arrest for it.
yeah. So, my opinion, was it Galileo?
I think it was Galileo.
Okay. So the thing with science is that the way science works is, and again, this is pretty much secondhand from things that I've read and seen, but the way science works is it takes the current, map, not like a real map, but like the map of how we think things happen, and until someone finds a better answer to that, and that's not just that, like, let's say, right now the opinion is that we're not in a simulation. If someone says, well, if we were in a simulation, we wouldn't think we're in a simulation, that isn't enough information to disprove or to make science believe that we are now in a simulation. Because if that was the case, everything would flip-flop constantly. And what I think a lot of people disregard about science is that, yes, science is wrong sometimes. You know what I'm talking about, the Always Sunny bit of Mac, science is a liar
science
sometimes.
Bitch.
Yeah, like, science is a liar sometimes. Science isn't a liar. Science knows what it knows and creates a model that represents the best it can. But at some certain point in the future, we will disprove certain things that we take for granted here. Like, we'll finally figure out what dark matter is, maybe. We don't know what that is.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
It doesn't mean that science is lying to us because we don't know what dark matter is. It doesn't mean the Earth is flat because if it was round, we would need to know what dark matter is, and we don't. We don't know a lot of things. We have certain tools that let us find certain things out. But again, humanity has been able to write for only a couple thousand years, maybe a few thousand years, maybe 10,000 years, whatever it is. We don't know everything that we could know yet. We know a lot, and we've gotten things very, very far.
The thing we know is a dot. Everything we don't know is a circle, and everything we don't know is even bigger.
Right.
Like, I know I don't know rocket science, but there's so many things that I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know they're a thing.
Right, absolutely. And I think that with science specifically, the people who doubt science, like the people who doubt the vaccine, are saying things like, but we don't know what the side effects are going to be. Correct. We don't know that 10 years down the line, we might not develop something from the vaccine. That is true. But with the best information that we currently have, people who are not actively trying to lie to you, because what would be the goal of that? Money? They have money. One of my favorite memes that I saw recently is that people saying that Pfizer is trying to kill you with the vaccine.
Why would they want to kill you?
Pfizer doesn't want to kill you. They want you to buy, oh my God, why am I blanking on the name of it? Viagra.
Yeah.
Pfizer owns Viagra.
Fun. And they own the thing that gives you erectile dysfunction, too.
Well,
dude, how funny is that?
Yeah.
Come on. They have a pill with the side effect of erectile dysfunction, and then they sell Viagra.
But, I mean, like, that's
so
the thing.
funny.
Like, the scientific community, the nature of science, and again, there are some people in the science field who are not honest, who are just completely dishonest. There are people who, like, I think I saw this on Adam Ruins Everything a long time ago, but it was something like Pepsi did a survey that said that like soda was good for you or something like that.
That's the stupidest
Yeah,
thing
it's
I've
just
ever
like
heard.
things that come from like science that comes from companies might not be the most trusted. But as a general rule, if your science books are telling you something, it's probably not known to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If your science history books, very different story.
Oh, because that's written by the winners.
Correct.
Yeah.
But science books, the nature of science is, and the science of nature, the nature of science is that we know some things. We think we know some things. And as I mentioned earlier, if something is disproven, the first thing scientists do is accept that new model.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just take like, oh, the Earth can't be orbiting the sun because the sun shows up in the same spot in the sky every day.
It does.
That's not enough to tell you. Like why gravity, why the Earth is moving, or why the Earth is spinning. It's not enough to disprove the current status of
You need
science.
enough information against it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes sense. And they come up with new theories and new hypotheses.
Hypotheses. Yeah.
Hypotheses. But I do think, especially for pills like Big Pharma, so sketch, because some are
But like
to help. But the thing is, like, we don't need all these pills to make us healthy. Like right now, doctors are just like throwing fucking anxiety meds, all this other shit. Like some people definitely do it.
Yeah.
Because they have the brain different. What's it called? How am I forgetting this word?
neurodiversity.
Yeah, whatever. Your brain. So you actually have anxiety or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a whatever.
Disorders?
Yeah, but it's a chemical imbalance. That's
Right,
what I'm trying to
yes,
say.
absolutely.
There we go. So but some are like, well, do you eat healthy? Do you work out? Do you take care of your mind? Do you take like rest days? Are you overworking?
Mm-hmm.
There's things that you can go before saying, here, just take this pill and it'll solve your problems. Because it goes back to people just want the instant fix. It's like, even my mom was like this when I was a kid. When I had like a virus, they're like, even my friend's a doctor who I had on, and she was just like, yeah, people come in or just like, give me a Z-Pack for Corona.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, well, that doesn't work. This is a virus. You have to just drink water and wait it out. Like, you can't put a Z-Pack in and just get fixed, but people just want the instant fix.
Yeah.
And I think Big Pharma is kind of just, what's it called? Taking advantage of that. And they're also, it's so scummy how much they charge for necessary
Oh, absolutely.
pills.
Yeah.
Like I think it was the diabetes
Yeah.
pill. This guy was charging like a shit ton, and they're like, can you lower this? Like, we can't afford this. And he was like, no.
So are you for single payer healthcare?
Single what?
Single payer healthcare.
What's that?
Basically what Canada does.
I don't know enough about it.
Okay. It basically just says that it's basically just like it's Medicare, but for all.
Yeah. I do think everyone should have the right to be healthy.
Yeah.
But I just watched this documentary called Unnatural Selection, which was great. I really recommend it. But this guy has this disease, this neurological disease where he can't move. Like, he's literally paralyzed. And there's this pill that messes with his DNA because it's genetic engineering. That's what the whole thing's about. So he takes this pill and it gives him more mobility, so he doesn't really die on his own spit. And to get this pill or this surgery or whatever it was $1 million. But it does not cost $1 million to make it.
Right.
So I think there has to be, I obviously get capitalism, like, you're here to make money. That's fine. But to that degree, like, I think there should be a point where, say, over 20%, you shouldn't be able to overcharge what you're making. Because that's just a scumbag move. Like, why wouldn't you want to help people that are dying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stand. Like, I do think everyone should be able to healthcare. Like, everyone should be able to get healthy. It's just, one, it's not realistic to give everyone free stuff. Like,
I mean, absolutely is, but that's beside
you think?
the point.
Tell me why, because I don't know enough about it.
Basically, every European country, most
How do they do it?
single payer healthcare.
So
It's
can you
basically-
explain that more?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not the complete expert on this, but basically what it is everybody in the U.S. pays a premium. I would
Same
say
price?
I would say I don't think so. I think it would be like tiered towards your like economic level, but also tiered towards economic level, not bullshitting taxes. because that would basically prevent any actual thing from happening, because like billionaires don't pay taxes, and that's absurd. But basically it just the like any insurance company where you pay in a little bit of money every month, and when nothing happens you lose that little bit of money, but then someone else who is sick is going to be able to get that money. And once you have that type of healthcare system run by the government rather than private companies, hospitals now have less of an ability to just overcharge for the sake of overcharging. And also hospitals, they know that insurance companies will barter with them to bring prices down for them. So what they do is they super duper overcharge, and then the people who don't have healthcare, they are not able to barter with the same level of efficiency as the insurance companies. And again, this might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's right. But basically, the single payer healthcare system would allow every single person to have access to this pretty much the same level of medical care. I'm sure if that happened, there would be doctors who are specializing in getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for weird treatments from billionaires and millionaires. I'm sure that's going to happen. But it helps every single person get healthy. And like, it's in the UK, there's the NHS, which is currently struggling just because they're not getting enough funding from the government. So there are always going to be problems, but I think that especially for healthcare, it's really important to, because like basically being non-white is a death sentence still in the United States for a lot of people. For so many reasons. And I think that this is just one of those aspects that can help just at least decrease that gap a little bit. And there are definitely lots of other ways: reducing the prison industrial complex, not letting prisons
ridiculous. The fact that they have to have a certain amount of beds filled every night.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not going to go in the rich white areas where people just get lawyers and get out of it.
But also stopping allowing prisons to underpay labor, or not pay for labor, because it's like 3 cents an hour.
Yeah. How is that in the Constitution where it's like you don't have to pay prisoners for work?
Yeah,
it's literally slave labor.
Yeah, slavery is abolished except in cases of a punishment for a crime.
It's so messed up.
And what that does is it allows police forces to consistently arrest people for minimal things and then use that to make money for the government, for local governments or state governments,
or even private.
Yeah, and for private prisons as well. It's the prison industrial complex. John Oliver definitely has a few videos on it that are great.
It's so messed up. It's just, we got to reform our prison systems.
Yeah.
Because one, the fact that we're not allowed to have cruel and unusual punishment. Please tell me what solitary confinement is. That is the cruelest shit I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Yeah.
And it's just so messed up. Instead of, most of these people, you're either doing it because they have to supply for their family. Like when you're so, it's all connected.
Yeah.
When you have a poor neighborhood with bad education, and the only way you're going to make money, well, if you have bad education in the area, then you probably don't have companies around that you could work for.
Right.
Like in the community. So if no one's making money in the community, then how are you supposed to make money? Well, let me go to some illegal ways to make tender, and then you get caught, then someone doesn't have a parent, then the cycle continues. And then they literally found when someone doesn't have their biological father, it's some weird, they're like 10% more, I don't want to say the wrong fact here, but something's off.
Right.
Like neurologically, they are not disturbed, so not the right word.
But yeah, like with that, sorry.
No, yeah, continue.
But yeah, like what happens there is because poor communities are like the myth of the absent black father. It is absolutely a myth, because what happens is there are areas where it's basically illegal to be poor. And like if you get money from like not a loan shark, but one of the like quick pay companies, I'm blanking on the actual name of it, but you can get paid. So you don't have money, so you need to pay for basic things. So you borrow money, and then they arrest you for not being able to pay back the insane interest on that money.
Because they know that you're not going to pay it back.
Yeah, and then they arrest people, and then they continue to arrest people because they were arrested for other things, so that it's easier to arrest them now. And there's increased policing because they need to hit quotas for their police department. There's increased there's increased arrests, and there's increased sentencing because the judges, the legal system is constantly the prosecutors are constantly working with the police force. So the police force isn't going to deal with themselves or the prosecutors. Prosecutors aren't going to prosecute police. So the cycle just continues and continues and continues. And because of that, there are black men getting arrested at significantly higher rates. And because of that, there are families that don't have that are just missing human beings from their family for reasons completely out of their control.
Yeah, and then when they get out of prison, then no one's going to want to hire them because they've been in prison.
Exactly. And it's like that. There are so many things that could fix that, but the current state of things is that prisons are hugely profitable.
Yeah, they're money makers.
And it's impossible to the current system without a severe overthrow is going to fight any change as much as humanly possible. And unfortunately, leftists don't have the capital to lobby people as much as right-wingers.
I think, yeah. I mean, this is something, if the public knows about what's really going on, I think, because the people have the power. That's what a lot of people don't. I really do believe that if everyone agrees on something, I think it can get changed.
Yeah.
But the prison system, it is such a big moneymaker. I wanted to see a shift to what kind of Sweden's doing, where instead of you're going to a prison, you're going to a rehabilitation center where people are actually there to see, okay, why did you do this?
Yeah.
What's in your past? Retrain your brain into saying, because a lot of it's mental health. A lot,
yes,
but
not as much.
I'm not talking about some big hedge fund guy scamming money. I'm talking about someone. I don't want to say, because I do think the way you're raised, I believe in free will, but I also believe in determinism.
There's no purpose in I don't think the discourse around not having free will is that useful, because if you just accept I have no free will, then you're not going to be productive. You're not going to be a productive and good.
Because you can just say, oh, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
But I do believe at a certain point, your childhood, you can't control it at all. But if you're given the tools, I was lucky enough to have the tools to be able to look back in my life and say, this is why I act a certain way.
Yeah.
But some people aren't even given those tools to look back. So if you don't even have the tools, you don't even know your childhood is affecting now, how are you supposed to change anything? So I think having these centers of actually helping with therapy, psychiatrists, not shocking their brains or anything, but actually.
I have seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Well, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's about a 1940s psychiatric ward, I think.
They were messed up.
Yeah.
They were really messed up. But I think we need to help people instead of just hurting them more. Throwing them in a cage isn't going to, that's so inhumane.
Yeah.
It really is. And it kind of just, we just look where the, look where the prison systems are. It's just, they're far away from everyone. We turn a blind eye. We know what's going on. We just don't want to think about it. So we really, I am into hope. There's got to be a way. And I think our generation, especially with the media sources we have now, we can get our voices out. But I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I think that the abolition of the police, or at least a complete overhaul of the current police system, is the first best place to start.
Getting rid of the police?
Well, getting rid of this current state of the police.
What does that mean?
Basically, the current police system, there is basically a mafia of an inability to hold people accountable. And the current state of the police is that they are working with prosecutors, they are working with prisons, and they are creating a system in which basically no progress can be made without it being completely stifled. And it's easy to say, well, this new generation of kids who are going to be police officers are going to be better.
Yeah,
but there are institutions in place currently that don't allow that to happen. There are institutions in place that will stop any police officer from making sweeping change.
So what do we do to make the change? Or what change do you want made?
I mean, I think we need to defund this current state of the police, completely reset, retrain. It doesn't have to be overnight. We don't have to get rid of all the police right now. But I think town by town, places by places, we still have some institutions in place.
We definitely need police.
A little bit.
Did you see what happened in what was the place that defunded the police? Where was that? It was some city that the Antifa took over, and it was just a shit show.
You know where else it was a shit show?
Where?
Charlottesville.
Okay. But like, I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of police.
But no, again, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the like, if
we need law and order.
I to some extent, yes, but I think that a lot of the like I think we're coming to the same conclusions with the prison system is one of the major things that is really troubling I guess just the nation, like income inequality, just like the values. I know that's kind of a buzzword. I don't believe really in values as a buzzword, but like
I've never heard it as a buzzword before. I never even heard it being used.
It's a right-wing talking point where like it's basically like a code word for like it's to some extent it's a code word for white supremacy, because the values that like someone like Ben Shapiro is constantly spouting are very much like the white Judeo-Christian like biblical things. But so like disregarding that, just I think that we're coming to the same conclusions that it's important to reform.
Definitely need reform.
But I think the difference is I'm kind of the perspective that you can't reform something like the police force because it's not just there are bad apples. It's that it's a bunch of apples, most of whom are probably not bad apples, but they're sitting in a tub where if you want to walk out, or if you want, there apples that can walk.
Mm-hmm.
If there are apples in the tub, the walls of the tub are filled with mold. Like it's a mold. The walls are molded.
Yeah.
And if the walls are molded, then an apple that wants to step out and say, "Hey, help, the walls are molded," will be molded by the time they get out there.
Yeah.
And they will not be able to talk because, as you know, apples can only talk if they're not moldy.
Of course.
And I am a politics major. No, I'm not a politics major. But like, so what I'm saying is that I think yes, policing is important. It is important to make sure that that people don't take advantage of a lack of defense from others.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I don't think necessarily that the British police force or the Australian police force is inherently bad. I believe that the American police force is inherently bad because I think that their system, and I don't know for a fact because I haven't been to either of those other countries and I haven't done as extensive research on them, but I think that it's important to note that like the United States police force, there are if you are going to kill an unarmed person, the gut instinct for many police officers, because of their training and because of their institution, is turn off your body cam.
Really?
Yes.
There was
a video that was just released a couple of days ago where it was someone who was doing something bad, and then someone was like, "Hey, cover your body cam on air, on camera."
Yeah, that's bad. So that's where I think more training for these officers need to be. I think they need to.
But who's going to be doing that training?
What do you mean? Like, who's going to train them?
Well, yeah. What institution do you think should be providing the training?
Well, I think it should be a part of, if you want to be an officer, this is what you need to go through. Like, whatever their boot camp is.
But we already have that.
I know, but I'm saying we need, like, more.
But who is providing that training?
I think there needs to be some philosophy for them. Like, you need to learn, because you also got to think.
Have you met a police officer?
Yes, I have.
You think they're going to be interested in philosophy?
Well, they need to know it, because the people that should be guarding us because they're also put in very stressful situations every single day.
And that's part of the problem.
Yeah, they never know if they're going to come home the next night. You don't know if you're going to go to a window and get shot. Like, you have to think about that from their perspective, too.
But also think about that from the perspective of every black person in America and every person of color in America. They have the exact same thoughts.
So that's a problem that needs to get fixed between them. That seems like a trust thing, that if you can sort that out, saying, hey, we're not going to shoot you,
Okay,
you don't shoot us.
If every day, or let's say every week for the last 300 years. Okay, let's say 300 years ago, I made your family make me dinner every single day. Didn't pay them, and I was very, very rude to them. And then for like 100 years later, every few weeks I would kill one of your family members every single week for that entire time. And then now, today, I come to you on this podcast and I say, hey, I would love to rebuild trust between me and your family.
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that point.
And I don't think there's a big difference between someone like that and then me saying, hey, I'm stepping down. And then,
but you got to understand, stepping down, imagine if all the cops were just like, all right, we're done. But like, not all cops are white.
Yeah. So again, the thing is that do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all? Yeah. So like Raymond Holt tries to do stuff. He tries to make it better, and he does succeed sometimes. But like that's a TV show paid for by some people who are pro cops. Like that show is paid for by the institutions. That show is that they have people on that show whose job is making it so that it's more realistic for policing. Who are those people? Police officers. What is their perspective? Policing is good. So I think like I'm not saying policing is bad. I'm not saying that all police officers are bad. What I'm saying is, in the current state of things, if we maintain the current order of things and don't do a very severe overhaul, it doesn't have to be today, but it needs to happen. And it doesn't need to be all at once, but it all needs to happen. I don't think that I don't feel that people are safe. And I feel like some people are safe, but the people who are currently safe don't really have much to worry about if policing is stopped.
I do agree with the reform thing and the safety, but I think a lot more problems come from if we have no police. Like, we need these people to protect us.
And again, I'm not saying that we should abolish the police and stop policing.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I think something needs to be changed.
Yes, but that can't be done internally, is my perspective. Mm-hmm. Because if it's done internally, then the people making the change are the same people who caused this to begin with. So like when you're saying they need more training, that is like saying, hey, moldy bathtub, we need to pour in algae. We need algae because the mold isn't working. So let's put in algae. Algae's not helpful. It's not going to actually change the mold. But like if they said, "Oh yeah, let's put water in the tub." That's kind of what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't think that's a fair comparison. Because I don't think if someone has more education on a topic, like how to respond in this certain situation, I think that would be better, because I don't see another way. There probably is another way to reform these officers, because you could change the things, but when you give someone a certain amount of power, they're going to act in a way. Like we saw it in the Stanford prison experiment. Mm-hmm. Like it's human nature, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just, I think it's kind of fucked up. But I'm with you. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think there's got to be a better way.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be. I just don't think taking out all the cops.
Yeah, I think the mantra of defund the police is not. It's not the best at getting four quadrant support on the topic, but I think it's it's currently yes, most police officers do not kill someone at all.
Yeah, no one wants to. I mean, I'm not saying no one, but I'm saying most people don't want to take someone else's life.
But like the saying that, how many police officers wanted the officer that shot George Floyd to be sent to prison for life?
I feel like I don't know, but I would think a good amount.
Where's the Thin Blue Line protest coming from then?
The what?
Thin Blue Line, Blue Lives Matter.
Well, the Blue Lives Matter, I think the Blue Lives Matter is just a thing. I don't quote me, but the way I look at it is they feel here. I'm looking up how many police officers get killed every year because I don't know too much about this. Police officers killed every year.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think like there are going to be stats on every side. I'm not denying that. But what and like this is my perspective. This is coming from me.
No,
but
yeah.
I think that the problem is that the institutions are so clearly putting a damper on progress because why wouldn't they want that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the same thing with the government too. It's like you put a good person in office, they're not going to be able to get any laws passed or anything because there's so many roadblocks in the way. So I do agree with you on that. And it's just the way things are set up. And that's why I do think things need to be changed as times go on. Because what we have set, I love this Constitution's great, but things change and we need to evolve and adapt and make things better because something we made isn't going to be perfect, just like science.
Yeah.
The more we learn, the more we could add to it, and the more we can improve it. So I don't think we've been doing that with literally any of our institutions that we've had in place.
Yeah.
Like prisons haven't been changed. Government really hasn't been changed either. Police hasn't been changed. It's all been the same shit.
Yeah.
And we wonder why it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that I hope that for you, the next step is realizing that, and I love that I got a voice crack there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that for you, the next step is I can't say realizing, as the same word twice.
Yeah.
And action. So I'm hoping that for you, like the next step is realizing that, there we go, we got it. The next step is realizing that, change, like expecting the change to happen through the lens of, progress and through the lens of subtle improvements is what has been pitched time and time again and has been shot down time and time again. Like there's a reason that there are two parties in America, and that's because they're both, at least as of 2015, both pretty centrist. They're both pretty down the middle. Like, no one is that radical. Now, I think that's changed a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's very radical now. The only voices I hear are far left and far right.
So, I think you're a little bit wrong on far left. I think that is Joe Biden far left?
I think he's a puppet. I don't think he's
a puppet of,
I don't know who. But do you see all this cheat sheets?
What does that mean? If he's a puppet, but you don't know who he's a puppet of, he's just not a puppet. He's just a centrist right dude.
All right, so I see a puppet, right? Do I see the handler? No.
But like, why? So like, from a scientific perspective here.
Yeah.
What is making you change your mind?
He's senile. He clearly has something going on in his mind. Mm-hmm. He can barely get a sentence out. He has cheat sheets that say everything for him, and everything he says, he goes, I don't know. They told me to say this.
Okay. Have you seen any other president? Like, do you think Obama wasn't
No, I know but I still think when he gets questions asked to him, he knew how to respond. Mm-hmm. And now when Biden gets any question asked to him, he stumbles over his words. He doesn't know what he's saying.
And I don't like Joe Biden. And I don't think he's a good.
Yeah, I think he's going to die, and I think Kamala is going to come in.
Yeah, but like my point being, I think you'll see, I'm hoping that you'll see that instead of like saying, oh, things are bad, so let's like
No, I get you. I understand. I don't think we need slow change is going to fix. I do think we need something big and radical.
Yeah.
But I don't think defunding is the best way to do it.
Sure, and I'm not even talking police, because I think that like the police department is something that like there are a lot of people who fall on who have experienced police in a certain way. And to be honest, I've experienced police in that way too. I haven't had trouble with the police.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah,
But-
I think there's a huge I'm a white guy. I don't get pulled over because of my skin color.
Right, but what I try to do in my life and in my politics is I try to, like, as you said earlier, history is written by the winners.
Yeah.
I try to push myself to not accept that,
Mm-hmm.
but to listen then to the victims rather than to listen to the institutions.
Yes. No, that makes sense.
And I think that, like, just in general, it's important to think that, like, what's really interesting is, and I'll bring this back to comedy. In comedy, I think that there's no such thing as right-wing comedy, because what comedy does is it punches up and it punches at institutions and it punches at things that need to be changed.
I feel like that's more satire than comedy.
Well, yeah. So here's my caveat to that. Right wingers can create comedy, but they have to move the goalpost, because their intention, like the most radical right you can be, is to bring things to the same that they have always been. Like I mean, that's not necessarily true, but the conservative means how things are is good. And because of that, you can't make comedy saying, "Oh my God, look at this floor, it's nice." That's just not funny. Mm-hmm. So there is right-wing comedy, there is conservative comedy, except instead of challenging institutions, it basically creates victims and makes you think that you're the victim rather than the others. So, like, Ricky Gervais has so much comedy that is making fun of transgender people. And this is a quote from James Acaster. It's on my laptop, but it's who's like Ricky Gervais makes jokes about trans people and then says, "What? Too challenging for you? Am I too challenging for you that I'm making fun of trans people?" And like James says, "You know who really needs a challenge and who hasn't been challenged enough? The trans community." Like, you can't make jokes punching up at the trans community, because there's nothing to punch up to. It's not an institution. It's people who are trying to live their life as who they are. Mm-hmm. What you can do is you can make jokes that are dealing with the, like, insecurities and the things that people want to say, but it's not politically correct to say. It's the things that are just rude and mean and base level. And that's what you can do. You can make fun of people for being different. That's not conservative. That's not conservative comedy. That's right-wing comedy, but it's not conservative, because you're not trying to get back to anything. You're trying to say, like...
Can't you do that from the left side, too?
Absolutely. I'm not... And, like, there's not, like, all left-wing comedy isn't created equal. All leftists are not created equal. But I think something like Stephen Colbert... at least as of the last time I really watched Stephen Colbert, a lot of his jokes are making fun of, like, how Mitch McConnell looks.
Or Trump.
Or how Trump looks. Or how Trump speaks.
And I'm like, this is just, I'm not a Trump guy, but it's just like, all right, man, we get it. His hair is funny. He's orange. Yeah. Like, you're just making fun of someone.
Exactly. So, and it's easier. Because people want to make fun of things that they don't, like, that are obvious and, like, observations that they can make. But it's really important to, instead of making fun of just, like, the base level, hey, this is weird and I don't like it, you should be, and not just in comedy, but in politics and in just your normal everyday life, you should be striving to challenge I don't want to use institutions again because I just used it a few times, but, like, you should be challenging the world to be better. And, like, making fun of someone's identity for being different to yours, or for being something that you don't see as like valid or real, that is lazy, and it's not really productive, because what are you going to do? You're going to get like a trans man is always going to be a trans man if they believe that they're a trans man. That is it. If they want to change their mind later, perfect. That's fine. But what you can't do, you like the number of times Ricky Gervais says, "Ha, what if I identify as an attack helicopter?" The number of times he says that, it's not going to change fucking anything.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything. It's just going to make some people laugh and make some people hate people for no real good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that, like, what that does is it sets people up to just dislike those who are different from them. And it's so easy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy. And the fact that there are people making a living not just creating divide. Creating divide is fine, because if you're on the right side of something, if you believe you're on the right side of something, you want to bring as many people over to your side as possible. That's your goal as just an influencer, as a person. But, like, it's hard. I think that I have so many privileges in who I am, where I was raised, how I was raised, who I am as, like, the schools I've been to, the brain I was given. I've been given so many opportunities, and to see other people like me who have had those opportunities play it so safe and play it so just be bad. Like,
yeah, no, you got to use what you have
say.
for good. Ready Player 2 has it in it. It's like, life's not fair, but you got to use your privilege to help everyone else that was not given that privilege.
Yeah,
that was kind of the quote.
Yeah, like, it's something where if the police system exists in its current state forever, and there are so many cop shows on TV right now. If I was just like, yeah, all right, whatever. So NCIS, you want to hire me? Cool. I'll direct an episode of NCIS. If I just did that and stood by everything that was being said, there's a death toll on my hands. There are people who are being killed. There are people who are being imprisoned and enslaved by prisons on my watch because I just accepted an institution when I know better that it's not okay.
Yeah.
I think it's easy. It's easy to just say, yeah, well, I still support police officers, but I might not support the police institution. It's easy to say that, but when you do that, you basically disenfranchise people, you disenfranchise victims of an institution that you have, like, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you accept that it's flawed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by saying, yeah, it's flawed, but let's not even try defunding the police. Let's not even try changing things up. Let's not even try creating new systems to make policing and prisons safer.
Yeah, no, I do think something needs to change. I just don't think defunding is the best way to do it. It's just like, I don't think war is good, but I'm not going to shit on the soldiers that are being sent there for it. Like, I'm going to look at the higher ups.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think it's the officers. Well, some, yeah. But some just want to do the right thing and help their community. Like, I think the position they're put in, not the position, but I don't want to use the institution word, but
I've ruined the word institution.
Yes, but that it's something that they're put into the machine that corrupts it. And I think we got to fix the machine, because the people, not all, but most, are trying to do the right thing. And that's how I kind of look at soldiers too.
But I think that's kind of a misnomer for defund the police. It's not saying, like, make sure no police officer can work in policing ever again. It's just saying, like, hey, police departments right now are getting funding. If they have funding, they're gonna do what they normally do. There aren't, like, saying, hey, public prosecutors, you need to start prosecuting police officers for things that they do. They're not going to. That's like they work with the police department. The police department gives them things. The police department makes sure they have cases. The police department makes sure they have money for re-election. The problem isn't individual police officers, and I think that's the big problem. I think that you recognize.
No,
that,
I did.
That, like,
I hear. That makes sense.
It's like the prison guard isn't the person in charge of deciding who gets solitary confinement. Mm-hmm. But in a world where a prison manager, just like a lower level manager, can choose whether to spend $100 on running AC for the day or buying a margarita mixer.
Oh, margarita mixer. That was the word.
Oh, no.
You're out.
No. No.
I do have to go to class.
Yes,
though,
you do have
eventually.
to go to class. But yeah, just
let's wrap this up.
Quickly finishing that sentence. Like when the choices are being hand fed to certain lower level people, then and like there's just like there's union pressure to just deal with the status quo and let everything happen the way it always happens. It's like just saying, yeah, there needs to be reform, but also let's not really think about what it needs to be. Like we're fine. I think that's part of the
yeah, I agree. I think we need to get I think the first step is I think everyone needs to get on the same page of what's going on. Once we can educate people of what's going on.
I personally think that's going to be impossible because and it's not just Trump, but the current state of misinformation and the the subjectification of facts for many people has made it impossible to reach some people. And I think that like the centrist philosophy of let's all just come together and meet in the middle cannot work anymore. Like it physically cannot work. But I would love to see it work. But that when people are like, and there are people who genuinely believe that the month they were born in determines every facet of their personality.
Yeah. There's some dumb people out there.
But that's not even the problematic people. Yeah. Like that's a lot of like most of those people, I agree with most of their other philosophies. Mm-hmm. But like the point is that we no longer have facts to rely on. We no longer have facts to determine how every single person sees most of the world. So because of that, there are certain people like you and I who I think are willing to look at facts and make educated decisions based off of them. Yeah. Who can't just lie back on, let's find out what everyone else thinks.
That's fair.
Because so many people are objectively wrong right now.
That makes sense. Yeah. But I do think we have to look at what's going to happen after too. We can't just look at this is what we want. We have to think, okay, let's see where it leads. Yeah. And we have to look at different options because all I'm hearing is like from most of the sides, just defund, get rid of. I want to hear more options that we can do. And then we put them on the chalkboard, just like the jokes. There's going to be good ones. There's going to be great ones. There's going to be okay ones. Like I want to see all of them. And once we see where they lead and what consequences or pros, because everyone's going to have pros and cons, from there we can make a decision. And then I don't know how we'll implement it, but we got to do something.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. But I'm glad you came on. This has been fun. Where can people check out your stuff?
My shit, yeah.
Your shit. So I was going to say shit, but I'm like, it's not shit. It's good.
You can check my shit in the toilet. I don't flush ever.
Yes.
No, so you can check out my Instagram at Adam J. Sperling. You can check out my show, The University News Cycle, on YouTube.
It's funny as hell.
You can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Adam J. No, that's not going to work. You can go search Adam J. Sperling on YouTube. I will have a link to it'll be like a playlist with all the episodes, or you can go to Syracuse After Hours TV.
And you guys just got your own show, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
This season 3 is our first season as a unique, fully independent show at Citrus TV. And then other stuff, I'm in a sketch comedy group called Cut for Time. You're going to have to search Cut for Time Syracuse, because otherwise you're just going to get SNL videos. We didn't think that through at all. You can check me out on LinkedIn if you want to give me a job.
Hey.
I think that's it. I should have probably planned this more.
No, I think they check your LinkedIn, they see everything you got.
Yeah, I'm starting a link tree in my Instagram, so hopefully you'll be able to.
Yeah.
get there.
So that would be good. So I'm excited to see what more stuff you churn out. And
I'm excited to read the comments on this and
see all those dislikes.
Yeah, if the Joe Rogan guys are in here, I'm let's put it lightly, fucked.
Yeah. You'll be good. You'll be good. But I really enjoyed this. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, James.
All right. Peace.